The rain hammered the windows of the West Wing like 1,000 tiny accusations, each drop echoing the pulse in Kira's throat as she stared at the screen. Her fingers hovered over the delete key. But the email sat there. Unyielding, a single line from Jordan. I never meant to love you this way. And in that moment, as the Oval Office door creaked open behind her, Kira knew the empire they had forged from whispers and whiskey was about to shatter like glass under a heel. Kira Voss had always believed in the power of a well-timed lie. The kind that could swing elections and mend fractured alliances. But as she stood in the dim glow of her Georgetown row house that stormy October evening in 2025, the lie staring back at her from her inbox felt like a noose tightening around her neck. Jordan Hale. Her partner in every sense, lover, confidant, co-architect of their ruthless political machine, had sent it at 2:17 a.m. The timestamp a cruel reminder of the hours Kira had spent poring over polling data, while Jordan slipped away to God knows where. I never meant to love you this way, it read, followed by nothing. No explanation. No plea. Just those words. Raw and reckless, landing like a grenade in the fortress they had built together over 15 years. She poured herself a glass of bourbon, the amber liquid trembling slightly in her hand, and sank onto the leather couch that still carried the faint scent of Jordan's perfume, jasmine and smoke, a signature as bold as the woman herself. Kira was 38 now. Her body a map of late nights and high-stakes betrayals, faint lines at the corners of her hazel eyes from squinting at spreadsheets, a scar on her knuckle from a bar fight in her wilder Chicago days. She had clawed her way from a South Side community organizer to the queenmaker of Washington. Her firm, Voss Hale Strategies, pulling strings for senators and governors alike. But it was Jordan who had made it epic. Jordan, with her golden retriever energy masked by a shark's smile, who had walked into Kira's life at a fundraiser in Austin 12 years ago, red hair cascading like fire, and whispered, "You look like trouble I could get behind." Their love had ignited fast, fueled by shared ambitions and the thrill of the forbidden. In a city where power was currency and discretion a survival skill, they had kept it hidden at first, stolen kisses in coat closets, coded texts about late strategy sessions. But as their firm skyrocketed, so did their boldness. They bought this row house together. A sanctuary of exposed brick and floor-to-ceiling bookshelves stuffed with policy tomes and dog-eared novels. Here, away from the hill's prying eyes, they could be unapologetically themselves, Kira's quiet intensity melting under Jordan's laughter. Bodies entwined on silk sheets, whispering dreams of reshaping America, one ballot at a time. Yet cracks had formed, subtle at first. Jordan's late nights grew longer, her excuses thinner. Client dinner, she'd say, lips brushing Kira's forehead. But Kira smelled the lie like cheap cologne on her skin. And now this email, a confession without context, arriving just as their biggest coup loomed, engineering the upset victory for Elena Ramirez, the progressive firebrand running for Senate in California. Voss Hale was at its zenith, millions in fees, headlines in Politico calling them the lesbian power duo rewriting the map. But power, Kira knew, was a jealous lover. She scrolled back through their thread, heart clenching at the old messages. Miss you already, babe. Let's burn this city down together. That was Jordan. 3 months ago, after a win in Texas. Kira had replied with a photo of them at the victory party, arms linked, champagne flutes raised, proof of their unbreakable front. But unbreakable? The word tasted bitter now. She set the glass down and paced the hardwood floors, rain blurring the view of the Potomac. What did this way mean? Too deeply? Too destructively? Or had Jordan found someone else? Someone who didn't demand the world but gave it freely? The doorbell buzzed, sharp and insistent, jolting her from the spiral. It was past midnight. No one called unannounced in this neighborhood. Kira glanced at the security feed on her phone. A figure in a trench coat, hood up against the downpour. Her stomach twisted. She cracked the door, chain still latched, and peered out. Kira. It's me. The voice was muffled but unmistakable, low, edged with that Texas drawl Jordan could never quite shake. Rain dripped from the hood as she pushed it back, revealing soaked red curls and eyes like storm clouds. Let me in. We need to talk. Kira's pulse thundered. Part of her wanted to slam the door, to let the rain wash away the woman who had become her gravity. But another part, the part that remembered Jordan's hand steadying her through her mother's death, through the smear campaign that nearly ended their firm in 22, unlatched the chain. Jordan stepped inside, water pooling at her feet, and for a moment, they just stood there, the air thick with unspoken accusations. You sent that email, Kira said finally, her voice steadier than she felt. She closed the door, leaning against it like it could hold her up. Jordan nodded, peeling off her coat, revealing a simple black dress clinging to her curves, elegant, but not the armor of power suits she wore for clients. 36. Jordan was still the stunner who turned heads in any room, fair skin freckled from Austin summers, full lips that could seal deals or steal breaths. But tonight, she looked smaller, vulnerable in a way that twisted Kira's knife deeper. I did. And I meant it. Jordan's eyes searched Kira's face, pleading. But not how you think. Then explain it. Jordan. 'Cause right now, it feels like you're pulling the pin on everything we built. They moved to the living room, Jordan sinking into the armchair across from the couch, hands clasped like she was praying for absolution. The rain softened to a patter, a reluctant witness. Kira sat, glass in hand, waiting. Jordan took a breath, the words tumbling out like a confession in a dimly lit bar. It started 6 months ago. That donor retreat in Napa. You remember, the one where we locked in Ramirez's funding. Kira nodded. The memory sharp. Vineyard sunsets. Power players toasting their influence. Jordan had been electric that weekend, charming checks out of tech moguls while Kira worked the room's underbelly. There was this woman, Lila. Venture capitalist. Sharp as hell. We talked policy over wine. And it was easy. No stakes. No empire weighing us down. Kira's grip tightened on the glass. Easy. The word stung like salt in a wound. Their love had never been easy. It was forged in fire, tempered by scandals and sleep deprivation. So you slept with her? No. Jordan's denial was quick. Fierce. God. No. But I wanted to. And that terrified me. Kira. Because with you, it's everything. The love, the fights, the way we bleed for this life, it's consuming. I never meant to love you this way. Like you're the only air I breathe. It's suffocating me. And I hate myself for it. Silence stretched, heavy as the humidity clinging to Jordan's skin. Kira searched her face, seeing the truth etched there. Exhaustion in the shadows under her eyes. The faint tremble in her hands. This wasn't betrayal of the body. but of the soul, a crack in the foundation they had mistaken for bedrock. Kira set the glass down, leaning forward, her voice a whisper laced with steel. Then what do we do? Walk away? Let one weak moment torch 15 years? Jordan's laugh was bitter. Hollow. I don't know. But if we don't fix this, the empire crumbles anyway. Ramirez's campaign launches in 2 weeks. One whisper of discord, and we're done. Heroes. Crossing to the window, staring out at the blurred lights of the city that had crowned them. DC was a beast, devouring the vulnerable, rewarding the ruthless. She and Jordan had tamed it together, turning whispers into roars. But love, she realized, was the wild card, the one force that could unmake them faster than any opponent. Stay, Kira said finally, turning back. We'll figure it out. Like always. Jordan nodded, relief flickering in her eyes. But as she stood to close the distance, Kira held up a hand. Not yet. The email lingered between them, a ghost demanding reckoning. That night, they slept in separate rooms, the row house echoing with the ghosts of what they had been. Morning brought coffee and strategy sessions, the firm's machine grinding on despite the fracture. But Kira felt it, a shift, subtle as a pole tipping red. The empire stood. For now. But secrets, like emails, had a way of resurfacing. As the days blurred into campaign frenzy, Kira threw herself into the work, scripting attack ads and courting endorsements. Jordan matched her pace, their professional facade flawless. Vashale at the helm, steering Ramirez toward victory. Stolen glances across conference tables carried heat, remnants of their fire. But the email's shadow loomed. Kira found herself replaying it during late-night runs along the mall, her breath syncing with the rhythm of her feet on pavement. Love this way, was it a curse or a gift? She had always prided herself on control, on reading rooms like open books. But Jordan was the one volume she couldn't master. One evening, after a grueling mock debate, they collapsed into a hotel suite overlooking the capital, the city lights a glittering reminder of their reach. Jordan poured wine, her movements deliberate, and sat beside Kira on the bed. I deleted the draft, she said softly. The one I almost sent after. The breakup one. Kira's heart stuttered. Why tell me now? Because I want you to know I'm fighting for us. For this. Jordan's hand found hers. Warm and sure. They kissed then. Tentative at first. Then desperate. Bodies remembering what words couldn't mend. It was a bandage. Not a cure. But in the dark. Felt like enough. Yet doubt festered. Kira began noticing things. Jordan's phone buzzing at odd hours. Her laughter too bright during calls. Paranoia. She told herself. The occupational hazard of a life in shadows. But when Ramirez's poll numbers surged, thanks to their viral ad blitz, the victory masked the rot. They celebrated at a rooftop bar in DuPont Circle. Champagne flowing amid DC's elite. Jordan's arm around Kira's waist felt possessive. Triumphant. To us, she toasted. Eyes locking on Kira's. Unbreakable. Kira clinked glasses, smiling for the cameras. But as she sipped, her mind wandered to that email. The this way echoing like a warning. Little did she know. It was just the first crack. The real quake was coming. Buried in a server farm in Virginia. waiting for the right click to unleash hell. The California primary season hit like a freight train, pulling Kira and Jordan into a whirlwind of hotel ballrooms and donor schmoozes. Vauxhall Strategies had poured everything into Elena Ramirez. Data-driven micro-targeting, a social media war room that churned out memes sharper than switchblades, and Kira's personal touch, off-the-record coffees with key influencers that sealed loyalties. Jordan handled the glamour, her charisma turning skeptics into superfans, while Kira orchestrated the shadows, the quiet deals that greased the wheels. By mid-November, Ramirez was polling at 52%, a lock for the general. The firm buzzed with that electric hum of impending triumph. Interns fetching coffee at dawn, analysts glued to screens tracking every tweet. But in the quiet hours, Kira's mind wandered back to the row house, to that rain-soaked night. Jordan had been true to her word. No more drafts. No more ghosts. Their nights blurred into a rhythm of passion and planning, bodies colliding with the urgency of people who knew time was finite. "You're my anchor," Jordan murmured one morning, fingers tracing the curve of Kira's hip as sunlight slanted through the blinds. Kira believed her, or wanted to, letting the words soothe the ache. Yet trust, once chipped, didn't mend cleanly. She found herself checking Jordan's email logs during late sessions, rationalizing it as due diligence. Nothing. Clean as a whistle. Then came the Napa retreat flashback. Unbidden during a red-eye from L.A. to D.C. Kira stared at the clouds below, remembering Jordan's stories of Lila, the venture capitalist with a penchant for disruptors, both in boardrooms and bedrooms. She gets it. The grind, Jordan had said once. Fan. Over takeout Thai. No judgments. Kira had laughed it off then. But now it gnawed. Was that the this way? Loving someone who mirrored your chaos without the weight of shared empire? She shook it off, focusing on the Ramirez playbook. They were too deep to falter now. Back in D.C., the holiday lights twinkled along Wisconsin Avenue, a festive veneer over the city's undercurrents. Kira hosted a small firm gathering at the row house, catered gumbo from a Louisiana contact, spiked eggnog to loosen tongues. Jordan was in her element, regaling the team with tales of outmaneuvering a rival consultant in Sacramento. Laughter filled the rooms, the air warm with camaraderie. Kira watched from the kitchen doorway, glass in hand, struck by how effortlessly Jordan commanded space. It was what had drawn her in all those years ago, that blend of fire and finesse, like a storm you wanted to chase. As the night wound down, guests trickling out into the crisp air, Jordan sidled up, slipping an arm around Kira's waist. "Proud of you," she whispered, lips brushing her ear. It's magic." Kira leaned into her, inhaling that jasmine smoke. "Don't jinx it." But her smile was genuine, the doubt receding like tide. They cleaned up together, a domestic ritual amid the chaos, Jordan wiping counters while Kira stacked plates, their banter light, laced with inside jokes from campaigns past. In bed later, with the city humming beyond the walls, they made love slowly, deliberately, as if reaffirming vows unspoken. Jordan's hands mapped Kira's skin like territory reclaimed, her breath soft pleas against Kira's neck. "I choose you." Every time, the words lingered as Kira drifted to sleep, Jordan's head on her chest. For the first time in weeks, the empire felt solid again, their love its beating heart. But empires, Kira knew, were built on sand when secrets simmered beneath. The first hint came 2 days later, buried in a routine data sweep. Their IT guy, Marcus, a lanky kid from Baltimore with a knack for firewalls, flagged an anomaly, an encrypted thread bouncing between Jordan's work laptop and an external server. "Probably spam," he said during their morning huddle. But Kira's instincts prickled. She waved it off in front of the team. But later, alone in her office overlooking the firm's bullpen, she dug deeper. The server traced to a boutique firm in San Francisco, Lila's Outfit. Vanguard Disrupt. Kira's blood ran cold. Not spam. Correspondence. She cracked the encryption with a tool from their black hat contacts, heart pounding as lines of text unfurled. First, innocuous. Policy notes on Ramirez's tech platform. Shared intel that bordered on collaborative. Then, personal. "Miss our talks," Lila wrote in one. "You light up rooms I didn't know were dark." Jordan's reply. "Flattery from you? Dangerous." Emojis. Light touches, nothing overt. But the intimacy sliced Kira like a scalpel. She slammed the laptop shut. Breath ragged. The office spinning. Not an affair. Not yet. But a flirtation. A what if that mocked their reconciliation. Rage bubbled. Hot and unfamiliar. Kira wasn't the jealous type. Had always trusted the bond they forged in fire. But this was erosion. Slow and insidious. She paced. Fists clenched. Debating confrontation. Yell? Walk? Or play it cool? Let it fester until it poisoned them? The door knocked. Jordan, takeout bags in hand, grinning. "Sushi truce? You look like you need fuel." Kira forced a smile, pocketing the flash drive with the logs. Starving. They ate at her desk. Jordan's feet hooked around the chair legs, chatting about a potential Ohio client. Normal. Domestic. The dissonance clawed at Kira, words sticking in her throat. How could Jordan sit there, so at ease, while her digital fingerprints betrayed her? That night, as they walked M Street hand in hand, discreet, but bold in their bubble, Kira tested the waters. "Heard from Napa folks lately? Casual. Over gelato." Jordan paused. Spoon midway. "Vague emails." "Yeah." "Why?" "Just curious." Lila's crew pushing any angles on Ramirez. A beat too long. "Not really." Old news. Jordan's smile returned. But Kira saw the flicker guilt. Or something sharper. They made it home without incident, tumbling into bed with the easy familiarity of lovers. But as Jordan slept, Kira lay awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. Trust wasn't just given, it was earned, drop by drop. And Jordan was spilling it away. The empire hummed on, Ramirez's momentum unbreakable. But Kira felt the first tremors. She needed proof, real proof, before she struck. In politics, accusations without evidence were suicide. In love, they were annihilation. The next week blurred into travel, a swing through LA. For Ramirez rallies, Kira scripting speeches while Jordan wooed Hollywood bundlers. On a balcony overlooking the Hollywood Hills, under a sky bruised purple, Jordan pulled her close. "This is our year," she said, voice thick with dream. "Senate seat. Then the White House run in 28. You and me. Kira." Legends. Kira kissed her. tasting salt and ambition. Legends don't fall. But as Jordan's hands roamed, Kira's mind raced to the logs. The server pings. Legends also didn't forgive blindly. Back in D.C., the anomaly escalated. Marcus reported more traffic files shared. Not just notes. Kira hacked deeper that night. Jordan out at a gala. What she found wasn't flirtation. It was a blueprint. Jordan feeding Vanguard intel on Ramirez's vulnerabilities. Not to harm, but to leverage. A side deal for post-election consulting. Ethical gray, but not illegal. Yet one attachment gutted her. A draft email to Lila. Timestamped last week. Kira's the storm, you're the calm I crave. Drinks when she's buried in Ohio. Kira's vision blurred. Tears hot and unbidden. Not just temptation, action. Jordan was hedging bets. Building an exit. The woman who vowed to burn the city with her was now packing matches for a solo escape. She confronted her at dawn. The row house kitchen bathed in gray light. Jordan, hair tousled from sleep, froze mid-coffee pour. Kira slid the printout across the island. Explain this. Jordan's face drained of color. Eyes darting like a cornered animal. Kira. It's not. Save it. Kira's voice cracked. Raw. You're playing me. For what? A softer landing. Jordan sank onto a stool. Head in hands. I panicked. The pressure, Ramirez. The firm. Us, it's too much. Lila's. Uncomplicated. Thought. Maybe a pivot. After the win. A pivot. Kira laughed. Bitter. 15 years. And I'm the complication. The argument erupted. Words like shrapnel. Jordan defending her fear. Kira hurling accusations of cowardice. Plates rattled as voices rose. The row house no longer sanctuary but battlefield. Jordan stormed out. Door slamming like thunder. Kira collapsed against the cabinets. Sobs racking her frame. The empire teetered. But this was personal Armageddon. Days passed in frosted silence. The firm functioned on autopilot. Ramirez's campaign a juggernaut. Kira buried grief in work. Her intensity sharpening edges until colleagues whispered of her edge. Jordan returned. Contrite. With flowers and promises, therapy. Boundaries. Full transparency. They tried. A counselor's office in Foggy Bottom. Unpacking the this way until it bled. Sessions unearthed Kira's own ghosts. Her father's abandonment. The fear of loving too fiercely. Jordan's too. A Texas upbringing where ambition meant solitude. Slowly. Stitches held. By December. With Ramirez declared the victor. They stood on a stage in Sacramento. Arms linked. Cheers deafening. To the architects, Ramirez toasted them later. Eyes twinkling. Jordan squeezed Kira's hand. A silent vow. The empire soared. Headlines crowning them untouchable. But untouchable? Kira learned otherwise in the new year. A ping on her secure line. Anonymous tip. A leaked server log. Not Jordan's flirtation. Something darker, a chain of emails from years ago. Jordan's signature authorizing off-books funds to a super PAC. Skirting FEC rules. The sender, Lila. Payback for a rebuffed advance. The secret email that would crash it all wasn't about love. It was about legacy. January 2026 dawned crisp and unforgiving in Washington. The kind of cold that seeped into bones and hardened resolves. Kira woke to the buzz of her phone. The anonymous message glowing like a lit fuse. A link to a zipped folder. Password Empire Falls. Her hand shook as she entered it. The row house still dark. Jordan's side of the bed empty from another client breakfast. The files unzipped to reveal a trove. Time-stamped emails from 2020. Jordan greenlighting dark money flows to a PAC that funneled cash to anti-progressive ads. Ironic, given their current roster. Voshail's name was woven through. Subtle but damning. A web of shell companies encoded subjects like Garden Path Initiative. Kira's stomach churned. She remembered that year, the pandemic pivot. When they had scraped by on virtual fundraisers. Jordan handling the finance side while Kira chased endorsements. Creative accounting, Jordan had joked then. Over late-night Zoom calls. But this was criminal. A felony waiting for FSC hounds to sniff it out. And the sender, Lila's IP trace confirmed it, had attached a note. She played you. Now play back. Betrayal layered on betrayal. Kira deleted the folder. But screenshots burned into her mind. She dressed mechanically, tailored wool coat over a cashmere sweater. Boots clicking like accusations on the stairs, and headed to the office. The firm occupied a sleek townhouse off K Street. All glass walls and ergonomic chairs. A hive of ambition. Interns nodded as she passed, oblivious to the storm in her chest. She locked her office door, poured black coffee, and waited for Jordan. She arrived at 9:15, radiant in an emerald sheath dress, laptop bag slung over shoulder. "Morning, boss," she said, leaning in for a kiss that Kira dodged with a file shuffle. "We need to talk." Now. Jordan's brow furrowed. But she sat, crossing legs with that effortless grace. Kira slid her phone across. The note open. Jordan scanned it, color draining, then snapping back in fury. "Lila. That bitch. It's revenge porn for politics. She pitched a joint venture last month. I shut her down." Kira's laugh was hollow. "Or it's truth. Garden Path? Ring any bells?" Jordan's eyes widened fractionally, then narrowed. "Ancient history. We were desperate. Kira. COVID gutted budgets. That PAC kept us afloat. No one got hurt. No one. It funded ads that tanked a climate bill. Our bill." Kira leaned forward. Voice low thunder. "And now it's out there. One leak. And Ramirez pulls us. The firm implodes. Our names ruined." Jordan reached for her hand, but Kira pulled back. "We contain it. Deny. Pivot. We've done worse." But Kira saw the fear in her eyes. The crack in the armor. This wasn't flirtation. This was existential. The empire they built on cunning now threatened to bury them. "Did you know Lila had this? Was it part of your pivot?" The accusation hung. Poisonous. Jordan stood, pacing. "No. Got. Kira. After everything, I told you I'm all in." Tears glisten. But Kira's heart stayed stone. Trust. Shattered twice. Didn't rebuild on pleas. "Prove it," Kira said. "Get me everything. Logs. Backups." "We trace how she got it." "Neutralize." Jordan nodded, wiping her face. And dove in hours of server dives and call traces. Their old rhythm kicking in despite the rift. By afternoon, they had a plan, a digital kill switch. false trails leading to a rival firm. Risky, but necessary. As they worked, shoulders brushing, Kira felt the pull, their synergy. The way Jordan anticipated her moves like a dance partner. Hate and love tangled. Indistinguishable. That evening, over room service steak at the Hay Adams neutral ground, they dissected the fallout. The hotel's opulence mocked them. Crystal chandeliers. Views of the White House aglow. Jordan swirled her wine. Voice steady. Worst case? Fine. Maybe indictments. But we spin it, youthful indiscretion. Lessons learned. Humanizes us. Kira cut her fillet. Knife scraping porcelain. Humanizes? Or exposes us as frauds? She met Jordan's gaze. Searching for the woman who once promised forever. This life we chose it. The lies. The games. But I thought we were honest with each other. Jordan's fork paused. We were. Are. Lila's the liar here. But doubt flickered. And Kira wondered if Jordan was lying to herself. The containment held for weeks. Ramirez's transition team kept them on payroll. Oblivious. Voshail landed a gubernatorial race in Oregon. The wind patting their aura. Publicly, they were golden panels at think tanks. Profiles in the Atlantic hailing their queer revolution in politics. Privately, Kira monitored leaks like a hawk. Sleep fractured by nightmares of handcuffs and headlines. Jordan tried to bridge the chasm. Surprise tickets to a Vermont cabin. A weekend of snowshoeing and fireside talks. The Adirondacks loomed outside. Pines heavy with frost. The cabin a rustic escape from DC's grind. They bundled in flannels. Jordan's laughter echoing as they trudged trails. Breath-fogging air. Remember our first getaway? Jordan said. Linking arms. That motel in Austin. Roaches and all. Kira smiled faintly. You killed a spider with your heel. Heroic. They made snow angels. Bodies side by side. The white expanse forgiving sins. That night, by the hearth, Jordan opened up raw, unfiltered. I was scared. Kira. Of us burning out. The emails to Lila. They were escape hatches. But you're home. Kira traced Jordan's jaw. The firelight dancing on her freckles. And if another hatch opens? It won't. Jordan kissed her palm. Fervent. They made love on the rug. Slow and reverent. Reclaiming territory. For 2 days, the world narrowed to them. No empires. No secrets. Just skin and whispers. Healing in the hush of snow. Back in DC, reality crashed. February brought a subpoena, FEC probe into the pack. Tipped by anonymous sources. Lila's doing. No doubt. The press sniffed blood. Politico ran a vague item on consulting firm irregularities. Kira and Jordan lawyered up. Their attorney a silver-haired fox from Baltimore who chain-smoked in the office. Plausible deniability, he growled. But threads lead back. Panic set in. Jordan cracked first, snapping at staff. Vanishing into runs along Rock Creek. Kira held the fort. Her resolve a shield. But nights brought tears. Silent and scalding. She journaled in stolen moments. Words spilling like therapy. Love isn't power. It's surrender. Can I surrender to this? A breakthrough came mid-month. A mole in Lila's firm. A disgruntled analyst Kira's network flipped. The full chain emerged. Lila hoarding the emails for leverage. now weaponizing them out of spite. Armed with counterintel, they struck back, a whisper campaign painting Lila as unstable, her ventures crumbling under scrutiny. By March, Vanguard teetered, Lila's name toxic, relief washed, tentative. The probe stalled, chalked to insufficient evidence. Ramirez called, voice warm, "You two are miracles." They celebrated quietly, dinner at a hidden bistro in Shaw, candlelight flickering on Jordan's relieved smile. "We dodged the bullet," she said, toasting. Kira clinked, but her eyes held caution. Bullets ricochet, the empire stabilized, but scars lingered. Trust a fragile graft. As spring bloomed, cherry blossoms dusting the tidal basin, Kira pondered reinvention. More than containment, evolution. Yet fate, cruel puppeteer, had one more string. In April, during a strategy summit in Chicago, Kira's old stomping grounds, the unthinkable, a live leak. Not the old emails. A new one. From Jordan's account, dated last week. To Lila, "Can't do this anymore." Ending it with Kira. "Meet me in SF." Kira's world tilted, the conference room spinning as her aide shoved the tablet forward. Staffers gaped. Jordan, across the table, went ashen. "It's fake," she whispered. But the damage bloomed. Phones exploding with notifications. Clients dialing fury. The empire cracked. Not with a bang, but a whisper. And Kira, heart in shards, faced the abyss. The leak hit like a sucker punch. The conference room in Chicago's Loop transforming from war room to wake in seconds. Phones vibrated in a symphony of doom. Reporters, clients, Ramirez's chief of staff demanding answers. Kira's vision tunneled on the screen, the email, forged or not, timestamp pristine, Jordan's signature flourish unmistakable. "Can't do this anymore." Ending it with Kira. "Meet me in SF." Attached, a calendar invite for a consult at Lila's office. Next week. Jordan lunged for her phone, dialing IT. But Kira's hand shot out, gripping her wrist. "Don't. Not here." Her voice was ice. Eyes locked on Jordan's, searching for deceit, finding only panic mirrored back. Staffers shifted awkwardly, one murmuring about damage control. Kira stood, commanding the room with the poise that had toppled governors. "Hold the line. No statements. Jordan and I will handle this." They retreated to a side office. Door locked. The Loop skyline mocking through blinds, steel and glass. Indifferent to ruin. Jordan paced. Red hair wild. Fists clenched. "It's Lila. Has to be. She hacked my account. Deepfake metadata or some shit." Kira leaned against the desk, arms crossed. The betrayal's echo deafening. "Or it's you. Tired of the dance. So you script the exit." The words tasted like ash. But she needed the wound open. Truth bleeding out. Jordan whirled, eyes blazing. "After Vermont? After I handed her ass to her on a platter? Kira. Look at me." She stepped close, hands framing Kira's face, thumbs brushing cheeks. "I love you. Messy. All in. Empire bust love. This is sabotage." Kira searched those green depths, seeing the woman who had held her through breakdowns, celebrated wins with stolen dances and empty halls. Doubt warred with evidence. But time pressed. "Prove it." Again. They scrambled. Forensic sweeps confirming tampering. IP from a VPN in Napa. Lila's backyard. But proof lagged behind perception. By evening, Axios blared Voshail implosion. Co-founders split amid scandal? Clients bailed. Oregon governor's race yanked. Ramirez's team issuing a pause on future contracts. The firm, once a juggernaut, hemorrhaged. Staff whispers turning to exodus. The flight back to D.C. was purgatory. Economy seats since first class felt like presumption. Jordan slept fitfully. Head on Kira's shoulder. Kira stared at the seat back. Mind a maelstrom. Their love had always been a high-wire act. Queer women in a straitjacketed world. Balancing power and passion. Now the wire snapped, plummeting them into freefall. At Reagan National, paparazzi swarmed like locusts, flashes popping as they hustled to the car. Kira shielded her face. Jordan's hand in hers a lifeline or anchor, she couldn't tell. The row house, once haven, loomed hostile under sodium lights. Inside, they collapsed on the couch. Wine bottle passing between lips. Silence heavy. "I'm sorry," Jordan whispered finally. Voice breaking. "For everything. The flirts. The fears. I made you doubt us." Kira sipped. Throat tight. "Doubt's the killer. Not the leaks." She set the bottle down, turning to face her. "What do we want?" Jordan, really? Beyond the firm. The winds. Jordan's eyes glistened. "You. A life where love isn't collateral." She leaned in. Kiss tentative. Then deepening a plea. They moved upstairs. Shedding clothes like sins. Bodies seeking solace in familiarity. Skin on skin. Gasps mingling. It was reclamation. Kira's hands in Jordan's hair. Jordan's lips mapping scars. Climax came fierce. Tears salting sweat. A catharsis raw as birth. Morning brought clarity's cruel edge. The firm's board, 3 VPs and a lawyer, convened via Zoom. Faces grim. "Resign or we dissolve," the lawyer said. Kira and Jordan stepped down jointly. A press release framing it as strategic sabbatical. Lies, but necessary. Voshail shuddered. Assets liquidated. Their legacy a footnote in scandal sheets. Grief hid in waves. Kira wandered the row house. Boxing files. Each yellowed memo a ghost. Jordan job hunted quietly, non-profit gigs. Low-profile consulting. Her fire dimmed to embers. They talked endlessly, therapy twice weekly. Unpacking the this way until it unraveled. Kira confessed her control freakery. Rooted in a childhood of chaos, mom's cancer. Dad's ghosting. Jordan admitted her nomad heart. Texas wanderlust clashing with DC's cage. Spring deepened. Dogwoods blooming defiant. They sold the row house. The closing a quiet severing. Proceeds split clean. Kira retreated to a studio in Capitol Hill. Minimalist white walls. A single fern space to breathe. Jordan crashed with a cousin in Alexandria. Bridge nights a buffer. Distance stretched. Text polite. Thinking of you from Jordan. Thumbs up from Kira. But pull persisted. A May evening. Kira at a dive bar in Adams Morgan. Nursing a whiskey. When Jordan slid onto the stool beside. Heard you were here. Old habit. Kira's heart lurched. Jordan looked softer, jeans and tee. No power armor, vulnerable in a way that disarmed. They talked till closing, dreams deferred. Like opening a queer advocacy pack sans the greed. Laughter crept in. Tentative. Then free. Missed this, Jordan said. Hand brushing Kira's. Me too. The admission unlocked floodgates. They walked the night streets. Arms brushing. DC's pulse syncing with theirs. Akira's door. The kiss ignited, hungry. Honest. Not a fix. But a start. Rebuilding was glacial. Summer sweltered. Them navigating co-parenting their shared contacts. Awkward coffees with ex-clients. Joint pitches for freelance. Kira took a gig with a Vermont think tank. Remote work allowing escapes to the Green Mountains. Hikes through fern gullies. Air pine-scented. Jordan joined weekends. Her presence a bomb. One August dawn. Atop a ridge. Mist cloaking valleys. Jordan knelt, not proposal, but offering. A key to her new Adams Morgan walk-up. No empires. Just us. Kira took it. Tears pricking. Us is enough. Fall brought reinvention. They launched Hail Voss Collective. Boutique. Ethical. Focused on grassroots queer candidates. Small wins. A city council upset in Austin. Echoing their origins. The work healed. Channeling fire into light. Media circled warily. But their story rise. Fall. Redemption. Drew quiet respect. Podcast interview. Voices intertwined. Love taught us power's illusion, Kira said. Jordan added. It's the quiet that endures. Yet shadows lingered. Lila resurfaced in October. A settlement offer laced with venom. Hush money for buried files. They refuse. Countersuing for defamation. The case dragging into winter. Court dates in San Francisco tested them. Hotel nights tense. Then tender. Reaffirming bonds. By Thanksgiving. The suit settled. Lila's empire dust. There's Phoenix rising. They hosted a small feast in Jordan's apartment. Turkey. Queer friends from the old days. Laughter toasting survival. Kira carved. Jordan's hand on her back. A touch grounding. But healing's path twisted. December unearthed Kira's deepest fracture. A letter from her estranged brother. Blaming her ambition for family rifts. Cracked her open. Vulnerability spilling. Jordan held her through nights of rage and recall. Their love a scaffold. New Year's Eve. Fireworks over the Potomac. They stood on Jordan's balcony. Arms entwined. To this way, Jordan toasted. Champagne flutes clinking. Kira smiled. True. Our way. The empire reborn. Not of stone. But spirit fragile. Fear. Theirs. Winter 2026 wrapped Washington in a hush of frost and forgotten scandals. The Hail Voss Collective finding footing in the cracks of the old order. Their office. A cozy loft in Shaw. Exposed beams and mismatched chairs. Hummed with purpose. Young organizers brainstorming over fair trade coffee. Whiteboards scrawled with visions of inclusive policy. Kira thrived in the scale, mentoring a trans candidate in Portland. Her emails crisp with encouragement rather than calculation. Jordan. Ever the spark. Charmed microdonors at pop-up events. Her drawl weaving stories that hooked hearts. Their personal rhythm steadied too. Mornings tangled in Jordan sheets. Coffee brewed strong. Evenings walking the mall. Hands brushing in coded affection. Love felt lighter. Unburdened by boardrooms, a quiet domesticity Kira once feared as stagnation. Yet it bloomed. Shared playlists of indie folk. Weekend drives to Annapolis for crab cakes and sunset sails. Jordan's laugh, unguarded, was Kira's favorite sound, a melody chasing ghosts. But reconciliation's underbelly stirred doubts. Kira caught herself scanning Jordan's phone during idle moments, habit's cruel echo, erasing the urge like a bad itch. Therapy helped. Sessions in a sunlit office where they unpacked codependency, Kira's grip on control, Jordan's flight to novelty. We're rewiring, the counselor said. Neutral as fog. Progress. Incremental. January peaked with their first big win, the Portland upset. Their candidate, Jade Rivera, a non-binary activist, claiming council seat by 8 points. Victory call came at midnight, Jade's voice crackling with joy. Kira and Jordan danced in the loft, bare feet on hardwood, wine spilling as they spun. We did this, Jordan gasped, forehead to Kira's. Clean. Real. The high carried into February. Valentine's a low-key affair. Picnic in Rock Creek Park. Blankets and brie. Jordan's gift a leather-bound journal inscribed, "For your storms." Kira's reciprocation, a custom playlist. Tracks from their history drew tears. You remember, Jordan whispered, kissing salt from her own cheeks. Yet Lila's specter lingered. The settlement's NDA a gag on truth. Whispers reached Kira. Lila regrouping in Silicon Valley. Pitching disrupted ethics seminars. Paranoia flickered, old emails resurfacing. But Jordan quashed it. She's done. We won. Spring unfurled tentative. Cherry blossoms a pink promise. The collective expanded. A fellowship for queer strategists. Kira leading workshops on authentic messaging. One evening. Post-session. Lena, 25, sharp-eyed from Brooklyn, lingered. You're legends, she said. The fall. The rise, it's inspiring. Kira smiled wryly. Legends bleed too. Lena's nod held empathy. A mirror to Kira's younger self. Jordan noticed the glow in Kira's recount, subtle, but there. New fan club. She teased over dinner. Thai basil chicken steaming. Just paying it forward. But Kira caught the edge in Jordan's tone. A jealousy ghost. They laughed it off. But it planted seed. April brought Chicago. A panel at a progressive summit. Kira and Jordan tag teaming on power couples in politics. The room diverse. Electric, hung on their narrative. Empire's hubris. Love's salvage. Q&A turned personal. How do you rebuild trust? A voice asked. Jordan fielded. Hand finding Kira's under the table. Daily. With grace. And grit. Applause swelled. Backstage. They kissed fierce. Adrenaline surging. Post-panel. Drinks with old allies. The night loosened tongues. A former client. Buzzed on bourbon. Clapped Jordan's back. You two untouchable now. Lila who? Laughter. But Kira saw Jordan stiffen. The name a trigger. Later. In their hotel room overlooking Lake Michigan. Tension simmered. You okay? Kira asked. Unzipping her dress. Jordan shrugged. Shedding silk. Just. Tired of her shadow. They slid into bed. Bodies aligning. But Kira felt the distance. A chasm of unspoken. Morning sex was urgent. A bridge. But words waited. Over room service eggs. Kira broached. The jealousy, Lena. The panel. Talk to me. Jordan's fork paused. It's stupid. You're magnetic, I know that. But after the leaks, I fear losing you to something brighter. Kira reached across, thumb stroking knuckles. You're my bright. Vulnerability cracked Jordan open. She confessed nomad fears. The pull to roam sans roots. Kira listened, heart aching, echoes of her own anchors. They returned renewed, but may tested. A collective crisis, embezzlement by a junior staffer, funds siphoned for personal gain. Kira uncovered it. Her audit eagle-eyed. Confrontation left the kid in tears, begging mercy. Jordan advocated grace, probation, repayment while Kira pushed termination. Trust is currency, she argued in their loft. Voices rising. Jordan's eyes flashed. And redemption's growth. We're not them anymore, the cutters. The fight spilled. Old wounds reopening. Kira accusing rigidity. Jordan control. Doors slammed. Jordan couch slept. The loft echoing emptiness. Kira tossed. Regret gnawing. Dawn brought apology texts. Coffee reconciliation. We're human, Jordan said. Hugging tight. Flawed fits. June healed. Travels to Oregon for a rural candidate, trailblazing lesbian farmer in Pendleton. The landscape, vast wheat fields. Blue skies mirrored their expanse. Evenings by campfires. Jordan strumming guitar. Kira's head on her lap. Stories weaving futures. A house in the Cascades. Kids maybe. Via donor dreams. But July scorched truths. An email, anonymous again, pinged Kira's inbox. Asked Jordan about the Austin safe. Heart sinking. She remembered their first city. The shoebox apartment where dreams ignited. That night, Jordan out running. Kira rummaged dusty boxes. Faded photos. Tucked in a lockbox flash drive. Labeled contingency. Files loaded. Backup of the old pack emails. Plus more. Jordan's solo side hustles. Unreported fees from 23. Not damning alone. But with Lila's history, lethal. Kira confronted at midnight. Drive in hand. Jordan sweat damp for miles. What's this? Voice steel. Jordan paled. Sinking to floor. Insurance. Against you. Or me. If it all went south. Betrayal's blade twisted. You planned my fall? No ours. Paranoia. Post-leak. I deleted the originals. Tears streamed. I was scared. Kira. Of losing everything. Everything. The word encompassed them. Kira fled to the balcony. City lights blurring. Love's depth terrified how it could weaponize. Hours later. Jordan joined. Blanket wrapped. Destroy it. All. They did. Drive snapped in half. Shards and trash. Hug came tentative. Then fierce. No more secrets, Kira whispered. Jordan nodded. Promise. August bloomed forgiveness. Collective thriving. Portland's jade endorsing them. Donor floodgates opening. A retreat in Montana glaciers peaks. Glacial lakes sealed mending. Hiking talus slopes. Jordan slipped. Kira catching literal save. Metaphor profound. Lakeside. Skinny dipping under stars. They vowed. Transparency's altar. September steadied. Fall foliage a fiery backdrop. But October echoed origins. Ramirez's Senate confirmation hearing. Them testifying as allies. Spotlights hot. Voices steady. Their unity shown, queer power. Refined. Post-hearing gala. Champagne haze. A donor pulled Jordan aside, flirtatious. Bold. Kira watched. Heart twinge. But Jordan demurred gracefully, returning with fresh drinks. Only you, she murmured. Kiss ceiling. Yet November unearthed fracture's root. Kira's therapy unearthed suppressed grief. Mother's death anniversary. Unprocessed. Breakdown came sudden, sobs in shower. Jordan holding through. Let me in, she begged. Kira did. Walls crumbling. Love's flood healing parched earth. December closed the year gentle. Holiday market strolls. Lights twinkling. New Year's. Same balcony. Toast to endurance. The empire? Evolved human. Humble. But whispers hinted at storms anew. 2027 arrived with a whisper of reinvention. The Hailvoss collective no longer upstart but anchor for a new wave of candidates, diverse, unapologetic. From Rust Belt mayors to Sun Belt Assembly reps. Kira's role sharpened. Chief strategist. Her memos blending data with heart. Polls swaying not by manipulation but mobilization. Jordan's flair lit fundraisers. Her speeches weaving personal tales into policy fire. Queer resilience as rallying cry. Their loft office expanded. Walls papered with victory maps. A rainbow flag fluttering from the window like defiance. Privately, intimacy deepened. Scars fading to silver. Mornings began with lazy kisses. Coffee shared over the post. Nights ended in tangled limbs. Whispers tracing futures. Kira's journal filled with gratitude. Jordan's laugh my compass. They adopted a rescue mutt. Luna scruffy terrier mix. Her wagging tail a daily joy. Walks along Anacostia trails bonding them further. January's cold bit. But warmth abounded. A joint op-ed in The Nation. Love as leverage. Queer women reshaping democracy. Backlash came trolls. Op-eds decrying identity politics. But support surged. Speaking gigs pouring in. At a Yale panel, Kira fielded barbs on their scandal. Failure forged us, she said. Jordan nodding beside. Strength from shards. February thawed with travel. Austin revisit. Roots calling. The city hum changed. Tech sheen over old grit, but memories flooded. That fundraiser where eyes met across crowded room. They toured their first apartment. Now a hipster cafe. Laughing over lattes in booths where dreams brewed. Full circle, Jordan said. Hand over Kira's. Yet circles hit kinks. March brought a client crisis. A Chicago alderman outed mid-campaign. Their strategies tested. Kira orchestrated the pivot, authentic coming-out rally. Turning vulnerability to victory. Jordan handled media. Her calm a keel. Post-win. Hotel suite overlooking the loop. They celebrated raw bodies urgent. Gratitude gasped. Team, Kira murmured. Afterglow soft. April bloomed risks. The collective-eyed national. A house run in Vermont for Sarah Klein. A farmer poet with firebrand ethics. Kira relocated temporarily. Burlington's lakeside charm a bomb. Jordan commuting weekends. Distance tested. Calls laced with longing. Texts emoji heart heavy. One rainy evening. Kira alone in sublet. Doubt crept. Jordan's delayed replies. A vague networking in D.C. Echoes of old emails. She confronted on FaceTime. Voice steady. What's the Austin Echo? Late nights. Jordan's face filled screen. Tired but tender. Old habits die hard. Dinner with donors, nothing more. Trust me. Kira exhaled. Trying. Vulnerability bridged. Jordan sharing her calendar live. Kira vowing check-ins. May solidified. Klein's pulse climbing. Their tandem unbreakable. Summer scorched ambitions. June's Pride Month spotlighted them. DC. Parade grand marshals. Float bedecked in collective banners. Luna in rainbow bandana. Crowds cheered. Confetti swirling. Atop the float. Hands clasped. They waved, icons reclaimed. Backstage after-party. Toasts flowed. But Kira caught Jordan's gaze drifting to a young organizer. Vibrant. Unscarred. Jealousy flickered. Quelled by kiss. July's heat wave mirrored inner boil. A leak minor. But stinging. Anonymous post claiming Jordan's wandering eye in Burlington. Troll farm. Trace quick. But damage nipped. Staff morale dipped. Kira's sleep fractured. History rhymes, she journaled. Pen digging paper. Jordan sensed. Planning escape Montana road trip. Glacier echoes. Tent pitched by bare grass. Stars vast. They hiked dawn patrols. Luna bounding. Evenings. Campfire confessions. Jordan's fear of stagnation. Kira's of abandonment. We're nomads settled, Jordan said. Esmeralda sticky on fingers. Sex under canvas. Urgent as youth. Sealed packed. August returned them charged. Klein's campaign surging. But September twisted. FEC audit on collective books routine. But shadows of past loomed. Kira poured ledgers. Pristine. Jordan charmed inspectors with tea and transparency. Cleared by October. Relief partied. Loft bash. Queer anthems blasting. Bodies swaying. November elected. Klein won. Narrow but sweet. Victory speech shout out. To my architects. Kira and Jordan. Love strategists, drew tears. DC. Return. Election night watch parties. Their circle toasting. But euphoria cracked December. Jordan's offer. Headhunter pitch for Silicon Valley gig. Bridge funding for collective. Kira's gut nodded. Dinner conversation halting. Why now? Growth, Jordan said. Eyes earnest. For us. Stability. Or escape. Voice sharp. Old wounds gaping. Argument ignited. Jordan defending ambition. Kira accusing flight. Always the horizon, Kira spat. Jordan stormed. Crashing at friends. Days blurred cold. Kira walking Luna solo. Heart hollow. Reconciliation came Christmas Eve. Jordan at door. Snow dusted. Gift wrap journal. Her own entries. Fears inked. I choose here. You, they cried. Forgave. Made love by tree lights. Ornaments tinkling. New Year dawned hopeful. But 2028 loom tests. January's Davos invite. Global forum. Queer panel thrilled. But jet lag bred distance. Swiss Alps crisp. Debates fierce. Hotel nights. Jordan's energy electric. Kira's wary. A flirt European donor. Charming Jordan rebuffed. But Kira saw spark. Back home. February festered. Kira's withdrawal. Therapy solo. Fierce cycle, counselor noted. March broke. Ultimatum dinner. Kira's voice steel. Commit or release? Jordan chose. Tears flowing. You. Always. Spring rebuilt. Couples retreat in Oregon coast. Waves crashing truce. April's bloom saw expansion. Collective satellite in SF. Kira overseeing. Jordan DC rooted. May tested Lila sighting. Conference whisper. Kira tensed. But Jordan squeezed hand. Past. June Pride again. Boulder National Tour. Rallies igniting. July's heat yielded harvest. Endorsements for 28 presidential hopefuls. August vacation Vermont cabin. No work. Just hikes and harvest. September steadied. Fall's colors mirroring growth. But October unearthed. Anonymous drive-by drop at Loft USB with Jordan's emails. Recent. To old Austin flame. Reconnecting. Innocuous. But timed cruel. Confrontation shattered. Jordan swore context. Networking. Platonic. Kira. Walked out. Crashing with Lena mentee turned friend. Weeks apart. Heartsaking. Therapy bridge. November healed tentative. Coffee truces. Luna's wax mediator. December closed with vow renewal. Private. Backyard. Friends witnessing. This way, they echoed. Rings exchanged anew. The empire? A garden now. Tended with care thorny. But thriving. 2028 unfolded as a tapestry of trials and triumphs. The Hale Voss collective weaving deeper into America's political fabric, backing a slate of queer congressional hopefuls. From Miami's vibrant districts to Montana's wide-open ranges. Kira's vision sharpened the mission. Not just wins, but waves. Training operatives in ethical warfare. Her workshops in Burlington drawing crowds. Jordan's charisma fueled the fire. Keynotes at Netroots Nation. Her stories of scandal to strength landing TEDx slots. The loft buzzed. Interns rotating like seasons. Luna's snores a constant undercurrent. Their bond, tempered by fires, glowed resilient. Shared Sabbaths, no phones. Just books and bodies. Surprise notes in lunch bags. Jordan's scrawl professing devotion. Kira's journal evolved, less storm. More serenity. Love as horizon. Not chain. Yet vigilance lingered. A quiet sentinel. January's primaries kicked off feverish. Them jetting coasts fundraisers to Boston town halls. Exhaustion bred edges. A missed call sparking snap texts. Where were you? Apologies swift. But friction chafed. February's retreat. Louisiana Bayou cabin. Gator sunning mended. Pirogue paddles. Jazz drifting. Nights on porch swings. Jordan's guitar serenading. Roots and wings, she sang. Kira harmonizing soft. March's audit echo, clean bill. Freed energy for innovation. App for voter turnout. Queer coded. April bloomed launches. Beta tests in Chicago yielding 15% bumps. Pride previews buzzed. Them headlining DC's. Float a collective of mints. Rainbow sales. But may cracked facade. Lena's wedding, Kira's mentee. Brooklyn bash brought ghosts. Jordan's toast. Warm. But Kira caught her glance lingering on best man. Old Austin echo. Paranoia? Or pattern? Reception dance. Bodies close. Kira whispered. Eyes here. Jordan laughed. Binning her. Always. But seed doubt sprouted. June's heat wave mirrored simmer. Client win in Florida. But post-party. Jordan's buzzed confession over conch fritters. Miss the rush sometimes. The big leagues. Kira's fork stilled. We are the rush. July tested. Montana candidate faltered. Smear campaign unearthed. Lila's fingerprints. Vendetta lingering. They countered fierce Oppo research flipping script. Wind snatched. Adrenaline high. Billings Hotel. Lovemaking victorious. But Kira's mind word. Is revenge her love language? August's respite. Oregon coast redux. Dunes and driftwood. Bonfires roasted marshmallows and fears. Jordan admitting wanderlust pangs. Kira voicing anchor needs. Balance, they vowed. Hands clasped in surf. September steadied. Fall primaries yielding upsets. October's harvest. Congressional endorsements. Media dubbing them the redemption duo. November elected. 3 seats flipped. Celebrations raucous DC. Dive bar. Shots and shouts. December's hush brought pivot. Jordan's SF satellite proposal. 6-month lead. Kira's gut twisted. Echo of splits, but she nodded. Trial run. Us first. 2029 dawn divided. Jordan west. Kira east. Weekends bridging. Calls constant. But lag bred loneliness. Kira's bed cold. Luna's whines accusatory. February visit. SF fog rolling. Jordan's apartment chic but sparse. Dinner at hole-in-wall taqueria. Laughter easing. But Kira sense shift Jordan's circle. Tech glossy. Ambitious. March's distance frayed. Missed flight. Cancelled dinner. Text war. Priorities. Kira typed. Jordan. Building hours. April's in person. Golden Gate chill. Arguments echoing trust's tightrope. May healed partial, joint retreat. Big Sur cliffs. Waves eroding walls. I need you. Not the city, Jordan confessed. Tears salting Pacific spray. June Pride Tour, cross country. Rallies fusing. July's heat yielded app 2.0. Viral. August vacation Montana again. Grizzlies distant. Hearts close. September storm. Lila's book drop. Shadows of power. Tell-all thinly veiled. Excerpts leaked. Twisted tales of Jordan's duplicity. Lawsuit loomed. But damaged psychic Jordan spiraling. Nights boozed. Kira flew west. Holding through breakdowns. Her poison, Kira soothed. October's countersuit buried it. November's wins 6 seats vindicated. December closed tender. Jordan East permanent. SF folded. New Year's. Potomac fireworks. Toasts to tether. 2030 bloomed bold. Presidential whisper campaign for queer ally. January's Iowa caucuses. Them groundworking. February's frost bit. But fire warmed cottage in Ames. Snowed in. Stories spun. March's surge. Candidate polled top 3. April's DC return. Loft alive. May's Pride zenith. National Monument March. June's joy cracked July. Anonymous email Jordan's. To SF colleague. Kira's steady your spark. Dinner. Forged. Kira's heart iced. Confrontation airport lounge. Flight delayed. Jordan's denial fierce. Traced to Lila's ghost server. End this, Kira begged. August purge. Full digital detox. Therapists guiding. September healed. Fall's palate forgiving. October's climax. Candidate clinched nomination. November's election night. War room electric victory at 2 a.m. Tears and embraces. December's grace. White House invite. Them advisors informal. But Kira pondered pause. Empire's weight eternal? The path curved. Love's light guiding. 2031 crested as culmination. The Hailvoss collective, not empire but ecosystem, nurturing legacies. From local levies to national narratives. Kira. 44. Embodied elder stateswoman. Silver threads in auburn waves. Hazel eyes wisdom-lined. Her guidance sought by freshman reps. Jordan. 41. Retained fire, red curls defiant. Charisma undimmed. Her mentorship magnetic. The Loft. Now headquarters with satellite nodes. Thrummed legacy. Wall's gallery of mince wins. Luna retired to sunny corners. Gray-muzzled. Their love. Battle-scarred. Shone profound. Rituals etched, Sunday suppers with friends. Annual Vermont pilgrimages. Harvests of apple cider and reflection. Kira's journal closed chapters. From crash to constellation. Doubts? Vestiges. Voiced in dawn talks. Dissolved in Jordan's touch. January's inauguration swirl. Their candidate. President Maya Torres, progressive Latina. Queer ally swore in. Kira and Jordan front row. Hands clasped under inaugural pomp. Balls after. Gowns swirling. They dance slow waltzes amid polkas. Whispers of pride. February's policy push. Equality bills drafted. Collective lobbying quiet. March's spring stir. New fellowship launch. Diverse cohort. April's bloom. Austin homecoming. Keynote at old haunts. May's pride eternal. Global virtual. Their story anchor. June's solstice gentle. Coast getaway. Oregon dunes. Luna chasing waves. July's heat-tempered triumphs. Congressional flips. App evolution. August's reflection. Montana cabin sale. Funds to scholarship letting go. September's equinox balanced. Jordan's memoir pitch. Kira co-author. October's harvest. Book deal. This way love. Power. Perseverance. November's grace. Midterms swept. Collective's hand invisible. December's hush. Holiday tour, family reunions. Kira's brother mended. Jordan's Texas kin embracing. 2032 dawn domestic. Talk of family, surrogacy dreams. Names brainstormed. January's Iowa redux. Advising Torres's re-election. February's frost. Therapy tune-up. Vulnerabilities aired. March's melt. SF closure. Full east. April's rain. Lena's baby shower. Anti-rolls practiced. May's pride. Float legacy. Mint's leading. June's joy positive test saguts. July's vigil. Ultrasounds. Heart swelling. August's nest. Nursery paint. Blues and yellows. September's storm. Lila's final gasp. Frivolous suit. Dismissed swift. October's clear book release. Bestseller charts. Tours intimate. November's election. Torres landslide. Them toasting dawn. December's miracle. Birth Elias Vosshale. Tiny fists waving. 2033 unfolded parenthood. Elias's gurgles symphony. Collective flexible remote strategics. Jordan's lullabies policy laced. Kira's midnight feeds. Jordan's coups. Love exponential. Trials tempered. Sleep theft. Balance bids. January's resolutions. Family sabbatical. Vermont Farmette bought. February's snow first steps. Wobbles cheered. March's thaw book tour pause. Home focus. April's bloom. Elias's laugh. Infectious. May's pride. Family debut. Float stroller bound. June's solstice. Beach baptism. Wave's blessing. July's heat. Park picnics. Stories spun. August's reflection. Therapy family edition. Bonds fortified. September's equinox. Collective expansion. Elias mascot. October's harvest. Second child whispers. November's grace midterms. From afar. December's light. Holiday onesies. Lights twinkling. 2034 cycled. Pregnancy announced. Joy communal. January's chill. Scans clear. February's heart. Gender reveal girl. Nora. March's nest. Expansions. Love layered. April's rain. Elias Big Brother prep. May's pride bump proud. June's solstice. Farm life. Goats and gardens. July's vigil. Birth smooth. Nora's cry chorus. August duo tandem chaos. The lights doubled. September's balance. Collective handover partial. Mints rising. October's clear book sequel. Family tales. November's sweep. Waves sustained. December's miracle. Twins' first holiday. Snow soft. Year's blurred mosaic. Elias's school plays. Nora's soccer goals. Collective legacy. Board advisory. Conflicts. Minor teen tantrums. Career pulls navigated with grace. Therapy anchor. 2040 milestone. 20 years together. Vow renewal farm glen. Friends circled. Kids flower strewing. Kira. 53. Gaze Jordan freckles faded. Eyes eternal. This way, she vowed. Jordan. 50. Tears shining. Hours. Empire. Dissolved to dust. Risen as roots human. Healing. Horizon bound. Love's arc. Not crash. But sturdy. Defiant. Enduring. In twilight years. Farmstead haven. Grandkids tumbling. Stories retold. Kira's final journal we built. Broke. Bloomed. Enough. Jordan's hand in hers. Sunset gilding. More than.